Hello, my wonderful friends and family on YouTube. Oop, I guess I gotta lift it up, don't I? Chloe here. How are you doing this afternoon or this morning or this evening, whenever you're watching this? Been a while since I've posted a video on YouTube, and it's because I don't really know exactly what I want to do as far as what kind of videos I want on YouTube. Now, you may be wondering what that picture was that I showed you, and the caption of this video should give you some indication. That group is, in my opinion, the greatest a cappella group in the world. They are from a tiny little country over near Italy by the name of Slovenia. They're by Croatia. They used to be part of Yugoslavia before Yugoslavia broke up into its own countries back in the 90s, I believe it was. But before I get into that too much, I want to give a shout out to some of my new subscribers on YouTube. One of them is Ron. Hello, Ron. I would like to give a shout out to Jill. I don't know who Jill is because I don't have a last name. But hello to you, Jill, from Chloe. And my newest member, whose name is Clement. He is actually a member of this group. And the way you pronounce their name is Perpetuum Jazzile. For a long time, I pronounced it incorrectly because I was pronouncing it the English version, the English way. I guess I don't really have to yell, sorry. I was pronouncing it Perpetuum Jazzile. And then I started watching some more of their videos, and they're very famous and very popular over in Germany, I'm told. And they do sing a lot of songs in a foreign language to me. I believe most of it is in Slovenian. Some of their songs from their older videos are in not Italian, Spanish, because they are Spanish songs, and many of their songs are actually in English. Now, how I was introduced to this group was through a friend of mine. For some of you that don't know, I used to live in Illinois for 10 years. For 7 years, I lived in Elgin, Illinois. And then I moved up to Rockford, Illinois for 3 years. And I attended a church there. And one of my brothers in Christ that was also in the chorale with me, because I joined the chorale, the choir there, actually had posted a video of Perpetuum Jazzile on his Facebook page many years ago. And I watched it, and I was just absolutely amazed. It was of them singing the Toto song, Africa. Now, many of my American friends know that a new group, I don't remember their name, but a newer group recently released a version of Toto's Africa, but not the Perpetuum Jazzile video, version of it. I will persuade you to go and check it out. You can just type in Perpetuum Jazzile Africa, and you will be able to watch their video. I believe that's how they became famous worldwide, was through that video. Now, it's an absolutely amazing video and amazing version of that song. I never really cared much for the song when it was popular back in, I believe, the 80s when I was in high school. That dates me. But their version is absolutely phenomenal. They are mostly an a cappella group. Some of their older videos from when they had other members of their group. They've been around for, I believe, 20, maybe, no, let's see, probably more closer to 30 years. I think they began back in the 80s, in the 1980s. and they've been growing by leaps and bounds. Now, recently, I saw one of those Got Talent shows where a large choir got up on stage and sang Perpetuum Jazzile's version of Africa. And they totally wowed the judges, they totally wowed the audience, which is great for them. That was the only version of that choir that I saw. I don't even remember if it was Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent or one of those kinds of shows. But I had made a post in the comments that said that I enjoyed the version of it, but that Perpetuum Jazzile had actually done that version originally. And I know that there have been other choirs around the world that have also done Perpetuum Jazzile's, or as I like to call them, PJ, their version of Africa. And so, like I said, I strongly suggest that you go and check out that video. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. And you'll see all other different kinds of videos they've done. Lady Gaga, they've done some old country songs. They've done medleys of like ABBA and the Bee Gees. They've done Michael Jackson. They've done the Jackson 5. They've done, Billy Joel, Justin Timberlake. They recently did a video live when they were on, when they did like a Facebook Live kind of thing, where they were singing Justin Timberlake's Can't Stop the Feeling, one of my favorite songs. And PJ actually did that version of the song. And I just thought it was phenomenal. They had done like a medley, and then that was part of that medley. It wasn't all Justin Timberlake songs, but it was like 3 or 4 songs that they were singing at one of their concerts. And so I absolutely love these guys. Now, I'm going to do another video, but I'll touch on it a little bit here, that describes a little bit about I hate to use the phrase mental condition, but I think what I'm going to call the video is depression versus SAD. SAD, for those of you who don't know, is seasonal depression. And some people can get it in the summer, some people can get it in the winter. I basically get it in the winter. Now, I haven't been officially diagnosed with SAD from a doctor, but I have all the symptoms. I'm totally fine in the summer, but it's during the winter months, especially since I live here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, that I start getting depression right around August, September time, when the leaves start to change, the temperatures start to drop. When I was a kid, I used to love going outside, and I know I don't really want to get into this too much because I want to talk about Perpetuum Jazzile during this video, but just to touch on it a little bit, and then I'll elaborate a little bit more in my other video. As a kid, I used to love playing in the snow. I grew up in Minnesota, and I used to love playing in the snow, but as I got older, the cold really got to me. The darkness of outside got to me. As many of you guys know, it gets darker earlier in the winter, and so you don't have as much sunlight. So that starts to trigger SAD in a lot of people. But I'm going to go into that in another video. I'm kind of I digress from what I was actually talking about. So one of the things that really helps me with my depression is music. I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. There's certain types of music that if you hear me listening to it, you better check to make sure that I'm dead, because I absolutely hate this kind of music. I absolutely despise opera. I am not into heavy metal. I'm not into rap. So if I'm listening to any of that stuff, I better be dead. The kind of music I do like is 80s pop music, because, face it, that's kind of like the era I grew up in. Granted, my formative years was in the 70s, but sorry, disco died in 79, in my opinion. I thought the 80s music was awesome. So I love 80s music. I love country music, certain types of country music, not all of it. You know, like, not what I call the old folk twangy stuff. I don't like that stuff. I hadn't listened to country music for a really long time, and then I turned on the radio one time, and I'm like, I thought this was a country station. And to me, the country music of today is more of like a country rock, like Luke Bryan and Carrie Underwood and that kind of thing. Even Garth Brooks, kind of. I think he kind of started the revolution with the country rock, because his music wasn't exactly twangy. I mean, yeah, in the 90s it was still a little bit twangy, but it was starting to head a different direction. And I think Garth Brooks was kind of the pioneer in that. And so I love Luke Bryan and I love Garth Brooks. So like Garth Brooks would be like the father figure for country music, in my opinion, in my generation. And Luke Bryan is more the younger version of it. So like he's like the son. But Perpetuum Jazzile tends to conform to what I really like, because I like all different kinds of music. Now, I do also like classical music, but really the only classical artist, if you will, composer, that I like is Mozart. And I think it's only because back in the 80s there was a movie that was put out called Amadeus that talked about his life. I don't believe that's exactly how his life was, but he was an absolute genius, and his music was incredible. And so, granted, yes, he did make operas and stuff like that, but I liked more of his instrumental stuff. Now, the kind of music I absolutely love is a cappella, and that's why I love Perpetuum Jazzile so much, because they are pretty much, I would say 95% of what they do is all a cappella. They have guys in their choir that do the beatboxing, so it sounds like drums. They do have music that they're not singing to, but they do like the background music, like an instrumental, but it's all with their voices, and they call themselves vocal ecstasy, which is pretty much what they are. Now, I am promoting these guys big time all over my Facebook, and something else I want to tell you is I just started a Twitter account. So you can check me out on Twitter under Chloe Got LB40 or at Chloe Got LB40. I just started it this past week, and so I'm just learning a little bit about Twitter. So any of you that want to subscribe to me on Twitter and help me out with Twitter and help me understand what Twitter's all about. I wasn't going to do that, but I know a lot of YouTubers do go to like Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all that stuff. Not very many of them are on Facebook. My Facebook I'm going to make specifically for my close personal friends and family. So I'm not going to give you my name on there. If you try to look me up as Chloe, you're not going to find me, because as many of you know, Chloe is not my real name. It's what you would call my stage name, I guess. I'm not an actress. I'm not a singer. Well, I am a singer, but that's not what I do for a living. I'm not really a dancer. I used to do Irish dancing, but that kind of died a couple of years ago, so I did Irish dancing for 3 years. But this video is supposed to be about Perpetuum Jazzile. So I would love to have Perpetuum Jazzile come back to the United States. So for those of you, and I'm going to be posting this video on my Facebook page, And I know many of you in PJ are friends of mine on Facebook, so I will be tagging you in this video. Hopefully you'll like it. I am promoting you for the United States, and hopefully you'll get a lot more followers. PJ is on Facebook. They are on YouTube, all over YouTube, and they are absolutely amazing. They've also done Queen, by the way. And they've done so many different kinds of music. I can't even tell you all the different songs that they've done. But my favorite song of theirs, which I guess they don't do anymore, is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, but the way I pronounce it is Gota, and it's spelled Gota, and it's a completely a cappella version, or a completely a cappella instrumental version of a song. There's no words to it or anything, but the storyline in the video is absolutely amazing. And the music is so soothing, and in a way it's almost a sad tune, but it's so beautiful. And that is, I would have to say, that is my #1 favorite PJ song. Now, along with PJ, there's about six or seven, I think. I don't know for sure how many people are in this other group, because I've seen more and seen less in some of their videos. I think there's 6 involved. You with PJ, if you can let me know about this. They call themselves Bassless, Bassless. They are also on YouTube. And they consist of members of PJ, but they're a smaller group, and they are also a cappella. Now, I have seen a couple of their videos, and they are sung in, I'm guessing, Slovenian. So I don't even understand what they're saying, because I don't speak Slovenian. But another song that Perpetuum Jazzile sings is a song called Pastiche Lado, and I probably am pronouncing that wrong too, but I've been practicing that song, so maybe in another video. I'm not prepared to do it today, but one of the members of Perpetuum Jazzile, PJ, had asked me a couple months ago to sing for him, so that he could hear what my voice sounded like, because one of my dreams is to eventually sing like one song with PJ, but that's only if they come to the United States, because I don't have the means to fly over to Slovenia or Germany or wherever they're performing to go and see them. So the only way that I can really see them is on YouTube, and I would really love to have them come back to the United States. Now, I say come back because they were here, from what I understand, they were here in 2013, and that was before I even knew about them. And there's a gal here by the name of Lara that knows a lot about PJ. I don't know if she's like